Hello, I'm
Hello. How are you?
Deborah Silver with.
Scotty Barnhart. How are you?
Thank you so much, Gail, for having us
Yes.
on your program. We are so excited to not only be here, but we are headed to Birdland this Sunday night, July 20th
Mhm,
at 5:30 p.m. for
mhm,
an album release event
mhm,
for our new album,
mhm,
Basie Rocks.
mhm, mhm.
And Scotty, maybe we should start by telling everybody how we met and how it was a coincidence. Should I tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. So I was in Los Angeles doing a radio interview, and it was to promote my album, The Gold Standards, that was produced by Steve Tyrell.
Mhm,
And as I'm walking into the radio station, Vince Wilborn, the nephew of Miles Davis, is walking
mhm,
out. And we kind of met
mhm,
in the doorway. And he said, "When you're done with your radio interview, come on over to Capitol Records. We are recording with the Count Basie Orchestra."
mhm,
So who can pass up an
mhm.
offer like that? So when I went, that's where I first met you.
Yeah, that's right. That was 2015, 2016.
Yes.
Something
What,
like
what album were you recording then?
that. That was the a very swinging Basie Christmas. It was our very first Christmas album. And we're
Well,
going to
it
be working.
was swinging, and that's when this bubble went off in my head,
Mhm,
ding, and I'm
mhm,
like, "Oh my gosh," and when I met you, I said,
mhm,
"One day, I would love to record with the Count Basie
mhm,
Orchestra." So then fast forward, I'm at Birdland, you're at Birdland, we're like,
mhm.
again, one's going out, one's coming in. You
Yeah.
were recording
Mhm.
your
Yeah, we were doing live at Birdland. That's right.
right.
January 2020, I think that
Yeah,
was.
and I had just been on tour with Freddie Cole because we
Mhm,
had both been on the main stage there,
mhm.
and I saw you again, and it was kind of like one of those, "Hi, remember me?" And I remember saying, like, one day, we're gonna record together." And so then fast forward, COVID happens,
Yeah.
and I wrote a hit song,
Mhm,
COVID-19 Blues, big
mhm,
hit, with Dennis Lambert. He's a 12-time Grammy nominated
mhm.
songwriter, and so many wonderful people joined us. Everybody zoomed in from home for this, and I wanted to do something really special to help people in the industry who were
Mhm,
suffering with
mhm,
not being able to work during COVID. So the funds from that song went to the Actors Fund and also the Jazz Foundation of America,
mhm.
and that's how I met Steve Jordan. He co-produced it with me.
Yeah, yeah.
And as we were standing 6 feet apart, I said, "Steve, I'm thinking of doing an album, jazz versions of rock and roll songs." And
Mhm.
the next thing I know,
Yeah,
he's producing the album,
yeah.
and he brings in the Count Basie Orchestra, and I'm like, "I can't believe you just did that. If you only knew how many years I've been talking with."
Yeah, he called me up and he said, "Man, I have an idea." I said, "Well, what's the idea?" He said, "Well, I think I'm going to put you guys. How would you like to be with vocalist Deborah Silver?" I said, "Yeah, I think I met her, a couple of times." He said, "Yeah." So he said, "I have an idea," and that's basically how it started. Somebody like Steve Jordan calls you and says he has an idea. Well, what is the idea? And when I heard what the idea was, and we talked about it, I said, "Wow, that's an ambitious project. That's something that's never been done before, at least with us." And
Right.
I know I could just see what the possibilities could be, and this record turned out even better than what I thought. It was
Well,
great.
it has been my honor and my pleasure to work with you. I have to say
Mhm.
this, you are one of my favorite people on the planet, and
Oh, thank
I
you,
have just
dear.
gotten to know you and love working with you, and I've become very attached to all the guys in the orchestra. It's taken quite a few years, and when it
Yeah.
was over and we were done recording, like my heart hurt. I'm like, I miss those guys.
Yeah, well, look, the Count Basie Orchestra is a hell of a institution to begin with, but we're a bunch of fun people. We get along well. We have a good time doing what we're doing, and the guys know that anytime we're in the studio or rehearsing or performing or any of that, we're at our we always have our best intentions that we
Right.
want to do everything right. But we have a good time, and we believe in we don't have a barrier between us and whomever we're working with, a special artist or something, guest artist. It's just one big family. So I'm sure you felt that, and that's how we were able to do what we did and get it done with
Absolutely.
all
I have to Yeah,
yeah.
I have to tell you, you brought me in his family, and that was very touching to me. And I feel like we're all family,
Yeah,
and this is the result.
that's right. There it is.
There we are. There we are.
Yeah.
And Gail's showing it. And
Yeah.
why don't we tell everybody about the songs? And you wrote the liner notes.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Well, look, this album, I mean, it's one of my favorites. We took tunes that I grew up on, like Benny and the Jets and Old Time Rock and Roll and Painted Black, all these great tunes. And one of the things that I had to do with co-producing it with Steve, we had to figure out what the tunes were going to be, along with yourself, of course, what the tunes are going to be. But then, to me, most importantly, who were going to do the arrangements. Because if the arrangements aren't done right with the Count Basie Orchestra in mind, it might not work. So lucky me, I know the ins and outs of the Count Basie Orchestra, what we do, how we do it, and how things need to kind of be. And of course, John Clayton, the great John Clayton, he knew as well. Chris Johnson and Andy Farber. So between the four of us, we were able to tailor these arrangements around you, but with the Basie Orchestra in mind, not any other orchestra. And one of the things I have to explain to people sometimes is that Basie, when you look at it historically, Basie only used a select few of arrangers. He didn't use a whole bunch of people. He didn't have a army of 30 people writing for him. He had really 4 or 5 main people that wrote. And that's very telling, because that means he knew exactly what he wanted and they knew what he wanted. So I studied this stuff growing up, realizing there is a difference between, what these arrangers are doing versus what other people are doing. So when we got the material, it was just a matter of fact of who's going to do what. And so when you listen to it, you can kind of hear it's in line with everything that Basie ever did, the Quincy arrangements for Sinatra, for whatever. It's in line with all of those things, the attention to dynamics, the perfect tempo for everything, making sure that the artist is featured without the orchestra getting in the way. But when the orchestra has its time to shine, we really shine. So we had to keep all of these things in mind, and I think we did it. And I don't think we did more than 2 takes for anything.
Right. That was what was so amazing. So what started off, I mean, I got to tell you, I started it with going through hundreds of songs that I bounced off of you and Steve. And there was one song that I knew I had to do, and we'll get to that because we'll go in order. But we knew we were going to do a Rolling Stones song. And during this whole process, Steve got the call. In fact, he got the call while I was on the phone with him when Charlie Watts passed away, that he was going to take over the throne as the drummer for the Rolling Stones.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. And so when that happened, I know we had already picked 10 songs and we were sold off on that Rolling Stones song. And that's when I just finally said, and I know you agreed, or said, Steve, you're a member of the Stones. We aren't picking it. You are.
Yeah.
And then Steve told us, he said, I spoke to Mick Jagger and he told me that this song is their most played, most popular song. And of course, we had no choice. We had to swing it, and we did Painted Black.
Yeah. And the great John Clayton put his genius arrangement to it. We got Arturo Sandoval to play the trumpet solo. And it was just a great, fresh new arrangement of a classic song. This is what jazz musicians do. This is what we do. This is why John was the perfect person for that. Because John, if people watching this don't know, John Clayton is the one that arranged the greatest version of the Star Spangled Banner ever. For Whitney Houston. And when I heard it, I was watching the Super Bowl, and when I heard it, I was like, that could only be a jazz musician that did that. There's no way somebody outside of jazz could arrange like that. Sure enough, John Clayton. So John is just such a genius instrumentalist bassist, but his arranging skills, he knows exactly what's needed. And so it's just a perfect track to begin the album with.
Right. And I want to say thanks to you, because you brought in Arturo Sandoval and you brought in John Clayton. They are 2 of my very special friends, and it's the friendships that you started. And I thank you for that. And also when we heard the arrangement, it was very Latin, very fiery. Steve called me and he said, you know what? I'm going to bring in Pedrito Martinez.
Oh, yeah.
And he said he is like the most incredible Latin percussionist ever.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, what a cool guy he is. I mean, we had so much fun that day, didn't we, recording?
Yeah, it was a great time, great time. And this is one of those albums that 50 years from now, it's going to get stronger and stronger. Like when I listened to Basie with Sinatra at the Sands, that was 1966. And that album is still, and that to me, that's what this album has. When you have the right musicians, when you have the right arrangers, when you have the right artists, the main artists like yourself, when you have all of those things together, it just keeps getting better and better and better and better. So it's a great recording. We're very proud of it. All of the guys love it. Dee Askew, our manager, loves it. The Basie estate loves it. I mean, everybody loves this record. And I just think it's a testament to what can happen when you get the right people, and I think, Steve is going to have to figure out how to get us to play this on the road with the Rolling Stones. He's going to have to. I'm just going to put that out there. He's going to have to.
Just put that out there.
He's going to have to, what greater opening act in the. What's the thought?
Okay. All right. Well, you never know. All right. So coming up after Paint It Black is Benny and the Jets, the Elton John tune.
Yeah.
And that was your arrangement.
Yeah, my arrangement. Yeah. That was something where, at this piano here, this is where I sit, and whatever I have to arrange, I learn the tune at the piano. So this is the piano I learned the tune at, and then I just went back and figured out what elements of it that Elton was doing that I needed to transfer to the band. And so that's kind of how I approached it. I got the right tempo, the same key, and that's one of my favorite arrangements on the entire album, because I wanted to start it off with in order to set up the Count Basie Orchestra, you have to have something opposite in a way. So I said, opposite, what can I do to that when the band comes in, it'll really be felt? So I said, a lone bass trombone. Just the bass trombone by himself, in which Nelson Riddle sort of did with Sinatra on, forget the arrangement, but this song is Live at the Sands, famous Sinatra arrangement that Nelson Riddle did, where he starts with the bass trombone as well. And so anyway, it started with the bass trombone and just the brushes, and then the band comes in on the most important motive of the song. So I wanted to make that statement. And I remember when we rehearsed it, I could see the guys' eyes in the band. They were like, "Oh, okay."
All right.
The key to music is the element of surprise. So you want to sort of tailor arrangements to not try, just sound good, but give the audience something that they're not expecting. So every time when I listen to it now here at the house or in the car I'm driving along, and I just go back and listen to just like that first 10 seconds, just to hear it going from just a lone instrument to 19 people or 18 and just hitting you in the face. So I really think if Elton John has not heard this arrangement yet, he needs to hear this. He needs to hear this arrangement.
He definitely needs to hear it. And also, I remember that day when we were recording it, you wrote such a great, I guess for lack of a better word, just a lick, that kind of tune. We were all we couldn't get it out of our heads. We were all walking around, and when we finished the session, we were standing outside, just singing it and humming it.
I just tried to do something that I thought would be the right thing to do. That's all I'll ever try to do. What's the right thing to do? And usually when I get into my zone, and I guess most arrangers are the same, when I get into a zone, even when I listen back to some of that stuff, it's like, damn, did I write that? Seriously. It's like I'm in another zone, I guess. But when I'm done writing and I'm listening to it, it's like, man, sometimes I can't remember what I did. I'm serious. I don't know why that's like that. But when I get into the zone on the piano and really learn the tune and really study it, I think I can really add some things to it. So it was fun doing video.
Yeah, and also I had a challenge because I didn't want to do it. I've always felt if you're going to remake a song or reimagine a song, it can't be like the original.
Yeah.
Why would anybody want to listen to it? The original's been done and it's fantastic. I would never try to do anything better than Elton John or Frank Sinatra or whoever it is. So I wanted to make sure I didn't give the Benny and the Jets.
Sure.
Come up with something else.
Sure.
And all of the notes and the vocal choices. I think I have a little scat in there, and she's got electric boots and a mohair suit. I read it in a magazine, and it's swinging. It is a swinging tune, thanks to you. And number 3 on the album is a song. This is the song I knew from the start I had to do a Peter Frampton tune.
Oh,
I Love Your Way. And you were brilliant because you brought in John Clayton for that arrangement.
Yep, I knew he had to do that. And when he did, he did it so well. Look what happened. We got Peter Frampton on it.
Yeah, and so it got sent to Peter Frampton, and
Mhm.
I don't know if I ever told you the whole thing, but my phone rings one day,
Mhm.
and this British voice said, "Hello, is this Deborah Silver with the incredible voice?" And I
Wow.
said, "Well, you're half right. It's Deborah Silver." And it was Peter Frampton.
Wow, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he told me, and I need him to write this down for me, because he said to me, "You know, you sang that the way I originally heard it in my head when I wrote the song."
Wow.
You could have picked me up off the floor right then.
There you go.
It was crazy. And then when he played on it with his guitar,
Mhm.
I think it could be just the most beautiful guitar solo I've ever heard in my life. When I first heard it, I cried. I had tears.
And the arrangement too. I mean, I'm telling you, when you got to write somebody like John Clayton Lightfoot, I mean, that was just woo-wee.
It gives me chills, and we are going to be performing that song on a Sunday night, July 20th, at Birdland on the main stage. And we've got quite a few songs from this out at the album release event. And then after that, we have a duet with Kurt Elling on Tainted Love, the old soft cell song.
Yeah.
And so that actually, I will give my son Spencer the credit, because he's like, "Hey mom, you need to do a song and do it in the flavor of Peggy Lee Fever."
Okay.
So we came up with that, and the arrangement was Andy Farber.
Andy Farber, yeah.
That, and it's Tainted Love with that dun 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 dun.
Reminiscent of Fever, that's right.
Yeah, sometimes I feel I've got to get away.
And that, you know what was really important? I'm glad that you're saying that, because those two bass drum beats that Steve Jordan did, that added a whole nother dimension to the song. It's very simple,
right?
But what Steve did with the two hits with the two quarter notes on the bass drum right there, after you sing the melody,
right?
That added a whole different. It just took it in a different way, and I didn't expect to hear that. And I'm sure that's something he just came up with. That's why somebody like Steve Jordan is in demand for it. That's why he's a drummer with the Rolling Stones.
Yeah,
he's in demand with 100 people, but.
He did. He took it. But you know what's so crazy? That, and I haven't, we haven't had this much fun, this much time to have a conversation in a long time. But when people hear it, or when I go and perform it, and I put the music in front of someone, if I'm doing a television appearance or, jumping into a show, the first thing the band or the pianist says to me is, "Oh, I see. It's like Peggy Lee's Fever." And so everybody gets it, like instantly. And a lot of it is the drums, how it starts off. And also John Clayton played bass on that song for us.
And a bass solo too.
Very good. Right. And the wonderful Kurt Elling, he's always so full of surprises. It's funny because we were both performing on the jazz cruise before we recorded the song, and we actually he jumped into my show and we sang it together then, and had a little bit of fun playing off of each other, and then it was afterwards when we recorded it, and then Band on the Run, song number 4, and that actually was Steve really picked that one. He wanted it. He liked the 3 movements, and he just thought it would be really great with the band. And then we have song number 6. It's been a hard night.
Who's that? Is that Andy?
Working like a dog.
Yeah.
That swings so great. Oh my gosh.
And your dad and your husband and your son and me, we had a vocal thing we added, so that was fun.
Yeah, are we supposed to tell everybody? But we'll tell them. So at the end, it's supposed to be a shout chorus, but I actually came up with the idea after we recorded it, and all the musicians, everybody were gone, so we went back in the studio, and I'm so excited because it was so fun getting the people from the studio who I'm very good friends with, you, and you're right, I got my daddy,
Yeah.
who's 94 years old, my son and my husband, and Herlin Riley.
That's right. That's right, Hurley. That's right.
Herlin Riley, who was playing the washboard and tambourine on what song was it? Old Time Rock and Roll. He was there. So he did it. And it is so funny because when I hear, I go, it's been a hard day's night. And they go, oh, and I've been working, you know, and they come in. I can like hear y'all's voices and it cracks me up every time I hear it. I love listening to it. All right. So what's next? Joy to the World.
Yeah.
Duet with Trombone Shorty.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much better.
In the wee hours of the morning, working on that arrangement. I remember I was one of those nights where I didn't get too much sleep, but that's one of those songs where you really have to. It's so popular and so many people know it that you really have to study it to figure out what. It's almost like you can't do too many things to it, really. It's like I did an arrangement of Silent Night the same way, and I thought, Silent Night, what in the heck could I possibly? So what I did, I just let the solos play the melody. And, you know, padded the chords and all that. And then I thought, well, what else could I do? Okay, let him play the melody again, but just modulate to another key. So Joy to the World is one of those songs that's so entrenched in everybody's mind. Anybody over the age of what, I guess 25, 30, well, I don't know. But it's so out there. So
Dog Night. I mean, everybody knows Jeremiah was bullfrog. And you know, I remember discussing this because you're like, okay, let's, you know, how do you see it? And being the entertainer that I am, I'm like, well, I'm thinking like stripper tempo and that's the way I can describe it. I'm like a big band, big. And you know, I said we got to strut this one out. And Trombone Shorty did just a fantastic job singing on it and also playing on it.
Yeah.
And I will say it was my sister, Sherry Spector, who is a huge fan of his. And she's the one, she's been talking about him for years. And she sent me, it was like right around the time we were doing this. And she sent me a clip from a show of his. And I looked at it. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's fantastic. We got to bring him in. And next thing I know, you know, Steve picked up the phone and he's like, oh, I love this. I'm going to do this. And he's, you know, Troy Andrews, Trombone Shorty, is such another wonderful, wonderful person that I have had the good honor, the good fortune, the good pleasure of being able to work with. And your arrangement just kicks.
Yeah, Chris Johnson, actually, I was so tired that I actually got Chris Johnson to finish it. I started it and did the outline of it, but Chris came in and it saved me because I was so burned out I couldn't finish it.
Right, I remember that. Chris is out of Detroit, right?
He's out of Detroit,
yeah. Another fabulous arranger. And I remember you always said it's got to be arranged by people who know the Basie band, who have arranged for Count Basie before. And then Fly Like an Eagle, Steve Miller.
Those couple of things at the beginning. Yeah, that was a real interesting song to play on. Real interesting song. But again, it's a classic and you nailed it. You know, I wish I had my liner notes in front of me to remember what I wrote about it. But it was just one of those songs that the guys, you know, just looked to right away. It just fit right into how we play. Just a great arrangement. Great tune.
I'm skimming through your liner notes really quickly, but I don't see it, but I'll tell you who was on it. And this was Steve's idea. He said, we knew we wanted a guitarist on it. And so Steve said, I want to bring in Bill Frisell, the world's greatest jazz guitarist. I am like just trying to look through here so I could read some of your Fly Like an Eagle. Deborah enters with the first word of the lyrics, which is apropos given that she's singing with arguably the greatest proponent of time in the history of jazz music, the Count Basie Orchestra. Talks about legendary Bill Frisell delivers a wonderfully melodic solo on top of the effortless swing. Anyway, Deborah returns and proceeds to give the song another lift within a perfectly placed modulation by Arranger Johnson. Steve Miller's classic has been elevated to new heights indeed. Hey, if you haven't read the liner notes, that means you got to get the album. And it's Scotty, I found out it's on sale on Amazon for $10 right
Oh,
now.
cool. All right, so sale.
It's also at Target, at Walmart. It's in many places you can buy it. Many independent record stores. It hit #1 on the sales charts the very first week out, #1, which is crazy. It also had the largest debut on the, am I saying this right? NACC charts, the college radio.
Okay, very cool.
It was the highest debut of the week, and it also made the charts on Jazz Week. And it stayed on the charts for a few weeks in sales. I mean, the first week, I got to tell you, it was an honor, but it was also, frustrating because people couldn't get it. It's sold out of Amazon. It's sold out of Target. It's sold out of Walmart.
Wow.
It's sold out everywhere. But we are going to be selling it, and you don't even know this, at the Birdland. And it's not really the Birdland Theater. It's the main jazz club. It's upstairs on the main stage. And I have decided to sell it. It's going to be $10 a CD, and every single dollar from the sale of the CD, 100% is going to the Jazz Foundation of America that night.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And that's how, that's how I met Steve, by doing it. And actually, I told Steve, it was my idea when we were putting this album together. I said, part of the proceeds from this album are still going to go to the Jazz Foundation.
Great. That's great. That'll help some people.
They do such a great job helping, especially when musicians fall on hard times, especially during COVID. They're such a fantastic organization, and they have incredible people run it, and it was started by Wendy Oxenhorn. So, all right. So, what is next? What's the next song? Every Breath You Take.
Another one of my arrangements that I was able to do, and that one, I think I remember wanting to put that in sort of kind of a church feel, gospel kind of a feel, and of course the great George Coleman is on that. And George Coleman, what is he, 89 or 90 years old now, I think?
Yeah, I think he hit 90 while we were doing this. He was one of the original saxophone players in Miles Davis.
Great Miles Davis Quintet of the 60s, that's right. So this one, I just wanted to have a nice kind of a church kind of a feel, and I think I wrote some plunger parts for the brass.
Yes.
It's just a good feel, it's just a good down home in the pocket. So when George comes in, I think we had set it up so good for him. All he had to do was just be himself.
Right.
So when you hear him play, he's just being himself.
Yeah, and it goes back to Miles Davis, how we met, which is kind of crazy. The whole thing's full circle, because had I not run into Miles Davis' nephew, Vince Wilburn, I would not have met you, because he's the one that invited me to come into your session. It's full circle to have George Coleman on this album. It was great. And Scotty, I gotta tell you, I love the feel that you put in. The feel is, every breath you take.
Gospel down home.
Every move you make.
So look, I grew up in a Baptist church, Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. And, the choirs that Daddy King had, we had 4 choirs there, but one of them in particular, the ML King choir, was basically a gospel choir. And so I remember as a kid growing up, and they'd be singing hymns, and you could hear everybody in the congregation, in the entire church, patting their foot at the same time on the wooden floor. You could just hear me. So that's what I grew up hearing. And that's what I was trying to have come across when I just explained it to the guys. That's what we were trying to do. And the rhythm section, Robert Boone on drums, Trevor Ware on the bass, Will Matthews, I believe Glenn Pierce at the piano. They just nailed it. They nailed the feel of it. And that made it easy for the guys to play and just to lay down to put this canvas so you could just come in and do your thing.
I love it. And I especially loved it with that gospel feel, because I grew up in Mississippi. So I've got all that feeling too. And you know what? I forgot to mention, on Joy to the World, we had 2 of the greatest background singers in the entire world. They both backed up the Rolling Stones, Lisa Fisher and Bernard Fowler, who are not just background singers. They are stars themselves. I mean, they are huge and 2 of the most incredible singers on the planet. And Hard Day's Night, we have Monty Croft on the vibes. So I wanted to make sure that we mentioned him. And then the next song, song number 10, is Old Time Rock and Roll. And I will never forget this. You and I And Steve Jordan were meeting, and Steve goes, I think we should put it kind of like a Fats Waller feel.
So we did the thing out front with the piano and the washboard and Wycliffe on the trombone. And then when the band comes in, it's again, I went back to that old kind of church feel, old time. Because I grew up hearing that in church. So it wasn't difficult to really do the arrangement. It was just a matter of finding the right tempo, because sometimes the difference between 5 or 6 or 10 beats on the metronome one way or the other can take you out of a groove. So we had to find just the right tempo. And when we found it, that was it.
Yeah, and also we had Wycliffe Gordon on a duet. That was a duet with Wycliffe. And singing with Wycliffe is like harnessing the power of a hurricane.
And he'll be doing that on Sunday. He'll be with us on Sunday.
He is going to be with us on Sunday. And then, yes, and then the last song is Life's Been Good, which did an incredible arrangement. It's the Joe Walsh tune. And and it's funny because when I sang it in the studio, literally just with you for the first time, like I didn't hear these arrangements until they were being played. And I'm in the room with the headsets on singing, and Steve Jordan's like, that's it. We don't even need to record that one anymore. We're using your first take, it's over. But let's talk about Sunday, because I feel so fortunate, so honored to have this incredible all-star band. I mean, you are all completely top-notch, first class. I mean, some of the best musicians on the earth. Wycliffe Gordon on trombone, and he's also going to be singing with me some of the duets from the album. And Patrick Bartley, who I performed on the Jazz Cruise with, and he literally blew me away blowing on that sax.
Yeah, he's something else. He's this kid, I remember him from high school. He went to high school in South Florida down at Dillard High, Fort Lauderdale, and now he's in the top 1% of people playing the saxophone, period. That's how great he is.
He is so fantastic. I mean, I was so thrilled that they put him in my band on the Jazz Cruise. So you put the whole, with you, we've got the most incredible horn section around with the three of you. And then you brought in Sylvia Cuenca.
Sylvia Cuenca. She was Clark Terry's drummer for a long time. Great swinging drummer, just beautiful, just flat out in the pocket swinging. I had her down here in Florida for a thing I did a year or two ago. I did a women in jazz thing, festival that I did. I had her come down to play for that, but I've known her a while, and so she's the first one I thought of. And then the bassist Eric Wheeler. Eric subs with us with the bass orchestra sometimes, so he's played with us a few times. So I'm very familiar with him. Swinging, technique, everything you would want in a bass player. And you brought in Ted Firth on piano.
And I have to tell you, Ted Firth. Look, I am beyond thrilled that he was available. He is one of the most sought after music directors of all time. He and I have been working together for around 15 years, and he is so brilliant. I mean, most everybody in New York, he's certainly very well known and very well respected at Birdland, but most of the people know all about Ted because some of us vocalists are always fighting to get him to be our music director, but everybody is in awe and respects his incredible talent. And I cannot tell you how excited I am, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. I think, Scotty, I just heard that I think they're almost sold out.
Oh, that's great.
Upstairs at Birdland. So everybody needs to get their tickets immediately. You can go online at
birdlandjazz.com. Birdlandjazz.com.
Okay. And I don't know if Gail has a way that afterward we can get a link, but birdlandjazz.com, or you can go on my website, deborahsilvermusic.com, and on any of my social media, which is Deborah Silver Music, Facebook and Instagram.
Same for me. I'll put the link there as well on my Facebook page as well.
Okay, tell them what your Facebook page is. Oh, there.
Yeah, my name's Scotty Barnhart on Facebook. It's there, but she has it at the bottom now.
Okay.
And before we forget, let's talk about this wonderful cover we took. This wonderful cover photo.
Yes.
Look at that. That was on the roof of a building. Where was that again? We did
Okay,
that.
that was in New Jersey. That was shot by an incredible photographer known as Fadil Barisha. And I think he's coming to our Birdland.
Oh, is that right? Okay, cool.
Fadil has shot like every movie star and celebrity. I met him, believe it or not, through my daughter, who when she was a teenager, she was Miss Teenage Florida, Miss Florida Teen. She was Scotty. She was so shy. Madison, she was so shy. She wouldn't speak much, to adults. I said, that's it. You're either going to enter a school play, you got to get on the debate team, or enter a pageant. And she's like, okay, I'll enter a pageant. Next thing I know, I am the mom of Miss Florida Teen. I lose my entire career for a year because all I do is travel around. And Fadil was shooting Miss USA and Miss Universe and Miss America. And so we were there. In fact, we were there right after the girl won Miss Universe. And we're all, everybody's in curlers. And so I'm looking at them going, can you, I'm a singer. Can you take my picture too? So he did my headshots. And so when it was time to do this cover, I'm like, Fadil, I can't think of anybody better than you to do this cover. And that was quite a day, just quite a day, on the rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
So
so overall, we have put together, I think, one of the best vocal jazz big band albums ever, period, end of story, full stop. Everybody can get it. You should and with the musicians, John Clayton arranging and playing bass, Steve Jordan co-producing, playing drums, Wycliffe Gordon, Kurt Elling, trombone, Shorty, Arturo Sandoval, again, the Count Basie Orchestra, Bill Frisell. I mean, come on.
Thank you for saying that. It's on Green Hill. That's the label. Green Hill is owned by Primary Wave. And we also recorded it in New York at the Power Station Studios now at Berkeley, and also Power Station out of Florida. The engineers, Dave O'Donnell, Steve Jordan didn't do a thing without Dave O'Donnell. And we also had Paul Kronk, who is a brilliant engineer, along with Rob Roy at the Power Station Studios in Florida. And I'm just, I am so thrilled, and I feel like I am so blessed to have you in my life, all of these guys. And I just want everybody to hear it because it's a very special album. It's different, I'm
going to put it on as soon as we finish here. I'm going to put it on my stereo in the back. The other two people we should thank, my lovely, lovely, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful better half, Dr. Yvette Mignon, and your wonderful husband, Larry.
My husband, Larry Silver, I got to tell you, I haven't seen him in probably 4 years working on this. But God bless him. He's coming to Birdland. I'm going to see him.
Oh, good.
And my son, Spencer, who he inspired me. You know what's crazy about Spencer? He's young, okay? He's in his 20s. He did not – I wasn't playing this music. I mean, I was playing Broadway shows. I always felt so guilty, Scotty, because I felt like I should have been teaching my kids nursery rhymes, but instead, they were learning Broadway shows. And so when it came time, he was so excited, and he would say, Mom, listen to this song. Listen to this song. And there were so many songs that I wanted to do, but then when I heard the lyrics, I'm like, they're not me, or they're about something that, not right for me to sing or come out of my mouth. But he helped pick a lot of the songs, and I give him full credit for that Tainted Love inspiration with Peggy Lee. And then my daughter Madison, she is so magical on handling all of the technical stuff and all the things that I had to do that I have no idea how to do. So I'm very fortunate that she helped. So it was kind of like a family affair. And and I feel very much family with the Count Basie Orchestra. And I'm very grateful. And we need to get out on the road and start showing people.
Yes. Well, let's thank Gail Boyd again. I think we're about out of time. So thank you, Gail Boyd, for having us. And it was our pleasure to work with you, Deborah. And we look forward to doing more things in the future.
I am thrilled, and I got to perform with y'all last summer. We were in California and got to do that. And yes, thank you so much, Gail, for having us. And Gail, this was great because you gave Scotty and me a chance to get caught up.
Yeah, good while.
It was great. And Scotty, I really look forward to seeing you Sunday night. I look forward to seeing everybody Sunday night at Birdland Jazz Club, the most historic historic jazz club, thanks to Gianni Valenti, who owns it. Gianni has made it a place that's such a wonderful environment, not just for fans, but for performers to get there. And we look forward to going back again and again and again because of the atmosphere that he's created. Everybody is fantastic there. And I was actually just there on Monday night. Jim Caruso has this cast party where it's basically open mic night. So it's so welcoming. I got to perform, and talk about our show coming up. And it's just been an incredible experience. And thank you, and God bless you. And thank you, Gail Boyd, because Gail also happens to manage John Clayton. And so happy that we were able to get John in, and Gail's been such a great supporter of this album and of jazz everywhere. So thank you so much, Gail.
Hey y'all, it's Deborah Silver, and nothing would make me happier than waking up tomorrow and finding out that I've got you as a new YouTube subscriber. And you can watch all my videos. You can do that here and here.